Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about interest rates. Where do I expect they're going to end up? A lot of videos on this channel, I'm talking about the news, what's going on in there. So I'll talk about nationwide house prices, Halifax house prices. We'll talk about Rightmove asking prices. We'll talk about when the mortgage works drop their interest rates. But every now and again, I like to just give my opinion on where I feel the market is going to go in relation to interest rates. You see, the videos where we talk about interest rates going up or down or sideways are some of the most popular videos on the channel. So clearly you're interested in that. So before we jump into that, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We're on the way to 28,000 subscribers now, which is crazy. And while you're here, smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That really helps me with the YouTube algorithm and just gets more views on the channel. So thanks to everyone that does that. So, interest rates. They've been going up for a very, very long time. Now, historically, interest rates aren't particularly high. They're about where they normally are, but the world has changed. So, over the last 15 years, we've been used to ultra low interest rates. Now, just because in the 1980s we had really high interest rates and the average was around 5 to 6%, doesn't mean that's automatically where we're going to end up. And a lot of people that comment saying, when we talk about interest rates going up, people say, you know what, who cares? You should be ready for that. I used to pay 14%. But you didn't go from 1% to 14% overnight. And that's the problem that a lot of people have had. So inflation was the key battleground, wasn't it? The Bank of England were tasked with bringing down inflation at all costs. They acted late. They could have acted a little sooner, but they did increase the interest rates 14 consecutive times. Now, we went from pretty much 0% to 5.25%, which is a very big increase. Now, the people that got hit really hard are people on interest only, particularly buy-to-let landlords. So if you were on a 1% mortgage and you got a 6% mortgage, your mortgage payments have gone up 6 times. Now, if that was on £100 a month mortgage, it's now £600, meaning you may be wiped out of the market, and lots of people did get that and ultimately left the market. So right now, interest rates have started to drop. And let's talk about that quickly, why that is. Well, last year, in December of 2023, the property market started to slow down significantly and transaction volume dropped off a cliff. Now, agents, solicitors, and mortgage lenders want a volume of transactions because that's how they make their money. Now, the only real person that can control that is the mortgage lenders. Banks that you know, like HSBC, Barclays, Mortgage Works, Nationwide, Halifax, Santander, they borrow from bigger banks like JP Morgan. Now, they don't borrow off the Bank of England rate. They borrow off a rate that's called a SONIA swap rate. And in December, January, and February of this year, that started to go down, meaning Santander, HSBC, they could suddenly borrow money cheaper, even though the Bank of England rate at that time was still 5.25%. They were able to get money cheaper because JP Morgan also wanted the market to start picking up again and get busier because they want to lend money to Santander and HSBC and people like that. So that got the market going again. So January, February, and March, the market started getting busy. Transaction volume started picking up. Then the banks started to get a little greedy again. So at that point, when the market got busier, when they've got lots of applications on their table, suddenly they started increasing interest rates. May, June, July this year, interest rates were on an upward curve. Mortgage interest rates, the rate that you and I borrow from, started to go back up in that scenario. So what's happened is the end of July, beginning of August, banks are now fighting for your business again. It's the same thing that happened in December. So the SONIA swap rate dropped a little bit. That gave them the ability to drop the rate that they give to you. And banks have been fighting over our business. We're getting some rates. We did a video this week, a buy-to-let rate of 3.49%. We've got loads of residential mortgages now at 3.99%. Now, what you've got to look at on these deals is fees. Some of them have fixed fees, 1,500 quid. They're way more expensive, the fees, than they were 3 years ago. But now they are moving in the right direction. Some of them will have a percentage fee, so you've got to look at that. If you're a buy-to-let landlord, fortunately, you can write that off as an expense and get some of that money back and reduce your tax bill, especially if you're in a limited company. You should speak to your accountant on doing that. But rates have been moving in the right direction, and that's what we want to see in this market. So where do I think rates are going to go for the rest of 2024? Well, it's kind of irrelevant what the Bank of England does, because this is the rate that we really care about, the SONIA swap rate, the rate that HSBC and everyone else gets. I think the Bank of England will probably cut once more. So I think the Bank of England will go to 4.75%. I don't know if that'll be September or November, but I'm pretty confident that we'll get one more cut this year, unless something goes massively untoward or wrong in America with their jobs data and if they slip into a recession. Now, people say countries fudge numbers. If they were ever going to fudge numbers, now would be the time before an election that could happen. So you might not see bad jobs data prior to the presidential election on November the 5th this year. So I think the Bank of England will go to 4.75. But what about mortgage rates? Well, I believe that for buy-to-let, you will not get a better deal than that this year. I think 3.49% will be there or thereabouts. Now, where you might get it slightly better is the fees. Currently, that deal there is with Mortgage Works. It has a 3% fee. I could see those fees maybe dropping to entice some people in. On a residential mortgage, I do think you'll see some more cuts though, because that's a bigger market, more competitive, more lucrative for these guys as well. I believe that you will see rates probably bottom out this year. We're at 3.99 currently. I think the best rates that you're going to see by the end of this year will be 3.75%. I think right now the market is competitive. They are fighting each other to get your business. But if you're sitting on the fence right now, and let's just say your mortgage expires in September, right? Is it worth going for a 3.99 or just going on a variable rate and waiting till the end of the year when you might get 3.75? I would go for the 3.99 now. Save the money now. Longer term, I think that will be better. Maybe you fix for 2 years, maybe you fix for 5. I've made a video on the pros and cons of that. And if you're looking to decide, do you want a 2-year deal or a 5-year deal, speak to a broker. A broker will look at your circumstances. No one really can tell you that apart from a broker who really understands your income, your expenditure, what bonuses you get, how much debt you've got in your mortgage, how much credit card debt you've got, and all of that stuff. They are best placed to help you and guide you make that decision. But ultimately, it's down to your tolerance for risk. No one knows for certain if interest rates will be higher next year or lower. I expect they will be lower, but who knows? We don't know. Inflation, this Wednesday, we're going to get some more inflation data. It's not going to be great. It's going to be up. It will be up from 2% from all the readings that I've seen. I'm pretty confident inflation is going to rise again this week. That's going to be very negative in the press, and people's sentiment will be quite negative as well. They'll be worried that inflation will come roaring back to 11%. I don't think that's going to happen. I think inflation will settle at 2.75%, up and down, and then it's expected to drop massively next year and the year after to 1.5%, something like that. Anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think best buy-to-let deal that you'll see in 2024 will be? I'm saying I feel that we've already got the best deal on the market. Better fees maybe. What about residential? Where do you think that will go? The best deals at the moment are around about 3.99. I think they'll bottom out at around 3.75. Go and comment below. Let me know. Do smash like, do subscribe, do check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.